Tumi Sekoni is an associate executive director in charge of capital markets at FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. Is live to us from FMDQ exchange place in downtown Lagos, talking about demystifying the green bond market and all the strategies for investing. What lessons are we learning? Tumi, join us on the program to have this conversation. Good morning.
Good morning, Bosan.
Great to see you. That's the first time in the new year.
Yes, absolutely, it has been. It is.
And it's looking like January already, but it's March.
Yeah, Q1 almost over.
Great. So yesterday, a lot of folks were talking about quite a number of things on our market street, but the green bonds still making the headlines. For example, Access Bank is talking about the first private sector issued green bonds. But the key issue was that you folks put some big names together at your exchange place and talking about the green bonds. What new things are we learning here?
So it's not necessarily a new concept, but it's about getting people to understand the whole, talk on sustainability, sustainable finance, and ensuring that Nigeria does what it needs to do to pretty much protect its environment, protect the nation. So the talk of green bonds is something that we had started, say, maybe about a year and a bit ago, and this is now getting, increasing the awareness of that and letting people see what it is we're trying to do as, obviously, a community to ensure we're able to entrench sustainable finance, sustainability principles in our markets.
Yes, so to me, are we still on track as far as the objectives of the Nigerian green bond market is all? Are we still on track with that?
Yes, we are. So the Nigerian Green Bond Development Program, which is a program that has been put together by 3 institutions, so FMDQ, Climate Bonds Initiatives, and FSD Africa. It's a 3-year program looking to develop the non-sovereign green bond market in Nigeria. So the program was launched last year, like mid-last year. So far we are on track. The program is meant to look at educating the market, getting a pipeline of green bonds and getting investors also interested in that green bond. In the green bond green bond development. So yes, we'll say we are on track.
And the components of this climate bond program?
So that it's looking, like I said, at entrenching green bond in Nigeria, in the Nigerian markets. The part of the things we're going to do is to educate the market, educate the investors, the issuers, intermediaries, work with issuers to develop a pipeline of these instruments. Also try to develop Nigerian-based verifiers for these green instruments, as well as product development, across the sustainable finance initiative.
Okay, so when we talk about investors, who buys these green bonds, and what are the issues around investing in green bonds?
So it's another asset class. So it's the typical investors that would invest in any other regular bond. So this is also about getting, it's a regular investors in that. I would say maybe some of the issues around this is people not really understanding what this what this is about. Some may think it's maybe more expensive, if you will, than your regular bonds. And when I say more expensive, they don't get as much return on the green bonds as they would for regular bonds. But it's not really about that. When we look at what is happening in the nation, when we look at the impact of maybe a lack of investments, if you will, in sustainability, it's the price to pay, if you will, is going to be far more if we sit and really do nothing or continue to focus on the traditional bonds and not look to develop, if you will, our environment, put in and look at projects that would help develop the environment, that will help look at power situation, look at the housing situation, look at climate change, obviously, which is a major one.
So what's the role of the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange in this entire arrangement?
So FMDQ as a capital markets platform, really, what the platform seeks to do is galvanize the different stakeholders towards developing our capital markets. So you'd have an exchange that has access to investors, issuers, intermediaries, regulators, those, all the whole gamut of those who are going to be involved or who basically would help drive that development. So the finance for these projects, and it's the capital markets that will be able to provide that sustainably. We have the federal government who came into the market first to pretty much pave the way for this type of investments. But we also need the private sector. We need the corporates to come in. We need the corporates who are actually going to help, if you will, develop our infrastructure to come into the market. So FMDQ as a platform that seeks to bring the stakeholders together to achieve this single objective, this single goal.
Yeah, the government side is well understood here, but when you talk about the private sector, you want to see companies issue their own climate bonds. Is that it?
Essentially that. I mean, the government alone is not going to be able to do it. The government alone is not going to be able to solve any of the issues that we have around the ESG principle, that's environmental, social, and governance principles. So we need the entire market to sort of come together, and the government is just the one aspect of things. But in terms of, if you look at social aspect, for instance, if you look at healthcare, it's not only whilst some people might say the government should take care of that. The government alone will not be able to do that, to be able to cover the whole, the wider population, really, if you will. So whilst the corporates, make the markets, move. So why not bring that expertise, the finance, the investments into these more sustainable areas? Transportation, like I said, housing, power, water.
Yeah. Okay. So what should market participants expect moving forward in this particular area?
So we're looking to continue to build capacity in the markets. We had an event yesterday which looked at the investor community, focusing particularly on the pension industry. So we're looking to build on that and continue to educate the investor community, educate the issuers, the intermediaries, have engagements with the regulators as well, because along with all of these things come the governance aspect that we have to ensure that things are done in the right way. So, and even interact also with the government.
Okay.
So we're going to have more workshops. We're going to have more events around, this green bond market development.
Yes, of course. Thank you. To Mr. Coney, Associate Executive Director in charge of capital markets at the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. Do have a great weekend and see you some other time. Talking about the green bonds market in Nigeria. What's on was on the agenda for next week. The biggest story will be the first Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank on Monday and Tuesday. If you track the market, of course, and the news as well, that the U.S. Central Bank and the Bank of England have left their interest rates unchanged. This will be part of the communique we expect the Central Bank to talk about on Tuesday. That's the 26th. It's going to be a very interesting one. But of course, you heard about the signaling from the Central Bank Chief Godwin Emefiele yesterday, speaking about the hawkish monetary stance, says will continue at least in the new year, but also looking at inflation estimate of about 12%. Before that start tapering. All that on Monday and Tuesday. Then, of course, you have your debt management office. The March Naira bond auction is already on the calendar. If you're in the market, you're already getting ready for that. But, of course, the big story out of here for some Nigerian companies is the Africa CEO Forum, the annual gathering of top executives across Africa, Nigeria inclusive, will be taking place in Kigali, Rwanda. Nigeria will be part of that, and we're covering that for you also here on Channels Television, where news and business news comes first. Let's leave it there for today, shall we? See you again on Monday, everyone. Have a great weekend. Goodbye from Lagos.